that explains how to do these customer interviews. So you all are probably like a little bit nervous about this one, but I want you to know that I have done this too, and I've done it for not just ISIC, but in regular consumer research. And this is something that you guys are going to find so exciting, honestly. Once you do it and you get used to it, the information you get is so valuable, and so I want you guys to just kind of like take a breather and get ready to do these customer interviews. So I'm going to be talking about a few things today, and one of them is just, one, how to find which customers that you should interview. Two, like how does you conduct these, how do you keep track of everything, and three, just like overall, why are we doing this, and what are we going to get out of it? So first, how to choose which customers that you want to interview is that, one, you want to get a variety. So the variety that you're looking for is people that actually dropped out of the process. So people that applied but never actually got accepted or approved. Or people that approved but never went abroad. Or people that actually finished their exchange. So those are just people all that have interacted with us and went through the customer journey and just understanding why, like each step in their learnings and what they experienced. And then also like, why did you leave? Why did you not go abroad? Or why did you go abroad? So I'm going to be going through the questions right now just to kind of give you a vibe for like what would you be asking, and then we're going to talk about like what to look for on their applications and everything else. So first here, say you're interviewing an EP, and I actually have a test one up for us. His name is Test EP, please ignore. And this EP is just a fake application here, so you can see, and we can also click and look at like the follow-up, the timeline, the conversations, accommodation, etc. If you choose somebody that approved, obviously there'd be more information here. So the first thing that you're going to be looking for is like, what was the host country? So for this EP, it was Peru. What was the product? It was a GV. What was the referral? It was an info booth on campus, so this is, or like tabling, as you guys know. And then you got to go through the interview, and basically what you're going to be doing is you're just kind of getting a vibe for who they are. So normally how I start my interviews is I call people and I say, hey, is this Angela? And they'll be like, yes, it's me. And I'll say, okay, hi, I am from ISIC, and I know that you guys interacted with us in the past, and we just kind of really want to improve our customer processes. So I wanted to know if you'd be able to help us out and answer a few questions. It'll only take like 5 to 7 minutes. And then they'll say yes or no, and then you continue on. If they say yes, you say, okay, first I just want to know, what is your major? And let them talk. And honestly, I want to know, like, what do you want to do in that field? Like, why is that your major? And then they're going to answer that question and say, okay, so now I'm going to briefly talk about just like ISIC in general, kind of like what you experienced. You put down that you heard about us from a tabling. Is that true? Is that accurate? And then they'll say yes or no, and they'll tell you whatever. And then you're going to go through and say, what was your first impression of ISIC when you saw us at that table? What did you think it was for? Write down everything that they say. What was it like working with the ISIC representatives on your campus? Again, write down what they say. And moving on. So you kind of just go through the questions. Then when you get to a scale of 1 to 10 questions, you're going to say, I'm going to ask you a few questions on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being like low, terrible, difficult. 10 being amazing, easy, simple. And then you say, okay, so first I want to know, how would you rate your experience on making an account on isic.org? Do you remember that? And they'll just go on, they'll make a rating. And then you go through all the steps. Again, if they were never approved, if they like applied and didn't actually go abroad, then you can go through here and you could put, why did you end up not going? Like, I noticed that you dropped out. Why is this? Or if they did approve and go abroad, then you can ask them questions. Why did you decide to go? What did you decide to go and go to this country in particular, etc. Yeah, so that's the general like flow of the conversation. The other thing is that you can do a couple things if you're somebody that listens really well. I typically take my phone, I put it on speaker, and then I set it down, and then I'll like talk, and I'm really good about listening, and I just like type that way. If you're somebody that is not so good at it, and you think that you can't do the multitasking, then record your phone calls. Make sure you ask if it's okay if you record, and then you can just listen through at the end of the call, and then you can type all your notes. If you're somebody that likes to write with your hand, that's totally fine. Do the same thing, and then just after put the output on the tool. Cool, so then that's how you kind of conduct these interviews. The other thing to find people, I hope you all know how to use XBA. If not, we can do more education on that. But basically, you just need to filter the applications and the time that they went abroad. So you can do, like, if you're just looking for applied people, then you can just do applications from last spring. If you're looking for people that approved, then just go ahead and do anybody that approved in that time frame as well. And the same for Realize Complete. You can just look at people that realized and completed in, like, July, August, or something. It's super simple, just filter by it, and then you just click on that EP and you can check out their information, their phone number, all that kind of stuff, and then you can call people. So that's the general, like, how to find people. And then the last thing I want you guys to know is, like, why in the heck are we doing this? Angela, why are you making me call my customers? Well, it's because we don't know enough about our customers. We're always talking about, like, we need to care about the customer more. This is how we do it. You guys are, like, kind of the guardians of this customer journey, because marketing knows that if the customer journey is crap, we're not going to be able to sell ISEC, and that is literally our job, is to market the experience. And so we need to make sure it's great. And this is where we're going to get the information of how to improve that process. And also, this information is good for me to know nationally, so we can all be more aligned and find if there's a problem that's happening in every LC. And then we can actually fix it. But we have to work together to do this research. Like, how hard is it for me, one person, to call like 300 EPs, but if 24 people call 7 EPs, we can get a lot of information and a lot of info, and we are going to be discussing this at WNC to figure out what are the improvements that your LC needs to focus on. What did this tell you about your EPs, about like their majors, who they are, why they do things, and it will also use this information to create your buyer personas for your term. And how great is it that you're using information that came from your real customers instead of just assumptions. We'll also be using quantitative data, meaning we're using the numbers from EXPA as well to help us calculate how many people are in this major, this age, etc. But for now, this is our qualitative data. We can only get this from talking to our customers. So make sure you call them and you have a great time, and make sure to put all of your output on the tool. This just has to be done before WNC, and that's it. Let me know if you have questions, guys.